Attorney General says the recently announced settlement between the Department of Justice and entertainment company Live Nation is anything but music to his ears. WECT's Mackenzie Bruns looking into this tonight. Mackenzie, you spoke with the Attorney General and concert goers. Why do they say this settlement falls short?
Well, Fran, the state's top attorney and local concert goers say this settlement with Live Nation doesn't really fix what's at the core issue of this problem: high ticket prices.
Kelly Morgan has been going to concerts since the early 2000s.
It's just music's for the soul. It helps with everything.
And like millions of Americans, she buys her tickets through Ticketmaster. So when she heard the Justice Department announced a tentative settlement with Live Nation, which owns Ticketmaster, she paid attention. The deal would allow up to 50% of tickets at Live Nation amphitheaters to be sold through any ticketing marketplace, where service fees would be capped at 15%. It would also require Live Nation to sell off 13 venues and create a $280 million settlement fund. And Morgan has heard promises before. After a 2013 settlement with Ticketmaster, she says vouchers issued to customers were nearly impossible to use. After contacting them, like in this email, she said she never heard back.
I'm hoping to God if they try to do something for the customers that they issue something monetarily and not a voucher, because if it's a voucher, they've given me proof you're never going to be able to utilize those vouchers.
North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson, one of more than 24 state AGs rejecting this deal, calls it barely a slap on the wrist.
It was just a very one-sided deal, and it really hurts consumers, so we're going to keep the fight going.
Jackson says the everyday fan is still the one left paying the price.
We want an outcome that the everyday consumer, a mom trying to take her daughter to a Taylor Swift concert, can actually feel.
And Morgan agrees, saying she has no other choice but to keep using Ticketmaster.
Me as a fan of so many different artists, I really hope they push for cheaper ticket price, because, you know, the ticket prices now are insane.
The settlement still needs approval from a federal judge who has already criticized how the negotiations were handled. Attorney General Jackson maintains tonight that while there is a settlement between Live Nation, he and the other attorneys general will not settle down until ticket prices are more affordable for everyone.
All right, thanks for that report, Mackenzie.